I hope everybody's excited. I know I am. This is the most exciting part of the event for me. We are up with a Spyro 1 120% race between world record holder Dayoman, Hummeldon, JX, MrPop 1, all very cool people, all very good runners. And we're also going to have Yoga helping out with commentary. Take it away, everyone.
What up, guys? Hype, 120% hype, and Spyrothon hype. Can I please get some hype in the chat and in this voice call? Yes.
Let's go.
Let's go. Who's ready for an hour and a half just about of some intense gem collecting
The
action?
fire just keeps going, baby.
I don't know about you, but I'm taking off my shoes right now. That's how you know it's getting serious. This is like samurai level stuff right now.
Article of clothing is coming off after each world. That's how I'm doing this.
Ooh, strip Spyro. Here we go.
Oh my god.
I only got like a couple things. It's gonna.
He's
I'm gonna
playing
be
mind
struggling
games with me. Doing the strip Spyro? How am I gonna play with this kind of distraction? Alrighty.
We already got a reset. We got a reset on JX's side.
We'll just wait for everyone to get to the main menu here.
FPS.
Yeah, get him to the main menu.
Don't forget about FDS.
All right.
Checking that FPS.
All my boys love FDS.
Yeah, once it gets
those
to the
who don't
menu,
know,
you.
FDS stands for fast donkey speed, which you can set in the PlayStation 2 home menu, and it makes your donkey faster. It turns it into a horse, actually.
Yeah. Starts galloping.
Yeah, I would say the other thing it stands for, but it's a family-friendly stream. Anyway. But yeah, while we're waiting up here to get all started, just want to give a big shout-outs to Phoenix, Aki, and Faulty, who helped put on such an amazing event today. Like, big clappers in the chat to Phoenix, and who was the other guy? Faulty.
I like how you just said it. You're just like, yep, I forgot.
But I forgot what I just said like 1 second ago. But no, it was fun hosting. It was actually my first time hosting a marathon, so it was really good. And of course, this might be the cutest chat like ever on Twitch. Only good vibes in the stream. Yeah. Love you guys.
Don't forget every time Dayo bonks to put a bonk in the chat. Thank you, thank you.
Oh my.
Ooh.
These mind games. Guys are getting to me. All right, well, are we all about ready here?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm good.
Everyone's ready. You want me to give the countdown then?
Go for it,
Please
Yoga.
do.
All right, guys. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good lucks.
Good
I
luck
love
to
you guys.
everyone.
Good luck.
Woo!
The fire's going again.
Yeah, let's get it
Screen
like
exploding.
3 more times while the cutscene goes
Oh, I
off.
love it.
Can we get another explosion? Yes!
Yes, there we go.
Yes.
All right, the hardest part of the run
Perfect, yeah.
is happening immediately, though. Everybody has to get Nestor and sit for about, what is it, a minute?
16
40
seconds.
16 seconds. It feels like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
does feel like an hour.
This is like the entire run right here.
Then find the balloon.
I might rescue him
run.
again. I might like sit on the pedestal and rewatch the cutscene just to. I didn't catch everything he said. You guys were talking.
Dragons first.
Yeah, that's
my
fair.
God.
That's fair. I'm sorry.
You should listen to him. Maybe you'd learn a thing or two about gaming.
What if you tried to like rescue or watch it again and he just scolded you? Hey buddy, didn't I tell you to go free some dragons?
He's like, did you know if you press charge, then glide in midair, like you can, he like starts telling you all the secret speed tech. That'd be awesome.
It's all intended and we didn't even know.
So ladies and gentlemen, we are entering the first level of the run here. Sunny Flight, our favorite flight level. Am I right, guys?
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Oh yeah. This level is a pretty slow pace, but these planes right here that we're coming up on are quite a doozy. And so there's a number of different camera manipulation strats you could do to sort of mess with them to try to get them to work in your favor. But you can also easily accomplish good planes without using the L2 and R2 buttons.
In general, L2 and R2 is very, very useful, like throughout the entire game when you start getting high level. I don't know if you feel that same way, Deo.
I 100%. That made me so happy that you said that because I feel like nobody acknowledges that. You see, on this game, there's a passive camera mode and an active camera mode, and by default, you're on passive camera. So you'd think that if you switch it to active camera, that, you know, it makes the camera center around Spyro more quickly. But actually, if you use the L2 and R2 buttons to center the camera manually, it's actually faster than using active camera and waiting for it to automatically recenter. So the point is that there's literally no reason for you not to use the camera buttons. And secondly, it just helps with a lot of like recoveries and just general movement, so you can know where you're going. It's one of the hardest things I think about running Spyro is pushing against the camera when you need to turn around and not knowing where you're going. And the camera alleviates so much of that when you're using the shoulder buttons.
This is definitely a harder game too, because in 2 and 3 you have buttons to center the camera behind you very fast. Not so much in Spyro 1.
Oh yeah, anytime I try to play Spyro 2 or 3, I don't take advantage of that. Because I don't even think about it.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I did a casual Spyro 2 run the other day, and I didn't even know that was a thing until I was at Gulp. And I was like, oh, wait, you can like center the camera. I was like trying to do lag reduction. Laura was in my chat like, dude, you know that doesn't like work, right? It doesn't work that way. I'm like, whatever, Laura. Let me do my lag reduction strats with the camera, okay? Laura's a hater.
Big shout outs to Laura. Me and her have 120 races all the time for fun.
Yeah. Laura's amazing. It's really cool to see over the past like year or two the amount of sort of like cross-pollination between the different branching Spyro communities. There's like a whole fan art sort of fandom of Spyro, and there's a lot of chatters that like I know are kind of like more centered on that. People like Kari and Moogle. But then there'll be like the more like there's like Laura, who's on top of some of the more technical stuff. Same with Composer, who are there in some of the more like Spyro sort of like hacking sort of discords and stuff like that, trying to like do like different things to emulators and make things leaderboard legal. So they're like covering the more technical side like of breaking the game down. And then of course there's the rest of us who are just like just lonely speedrunners without any friends that are happy to just see new people around. And that's definitely the boat I'm in. So I love you guys. That's all I just wanted to say there.
So Yoga, how did everybody do on the out of bounds?
Everybody got it fast and easy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nice.
I'm trying to pay attention to all 4 screens at once.
It can't be easy. It can't be easy.
But yeah, the out of bounds can be a little scary sometimes.
Put the baby powder on.
Oh, you're using the baby powder strat?
I shoulda. I didn't this time around.
Oh my God, I taught Hum about the baby powder. So let me explain something to people here. So if you put baby powder on your right thumb, it actually allows your thumb to glide across the circle, square, and X buttons with less friction. Now, there is the obvious downside of getting literal powder inside of your controller and having to periodically open it like I did today and like switch out a pad and wipe it down and then put it back together. But I think the benefit of being able to like reduce friction in movements where you have to slide your thumb awkwardly across the face buttons, I think it's worth it. Oh, Stonehill. I love this level. Anyone having any childhood flashbacks right now?
I remember running around the first section of the level not knowing where any of the gems are. Wishing that I could get out of the stage fast.
Dude, this is so one of those levels where it's like, oh my God, where are the last 2 reds? They're like hiding on like a parallel universe up on the second area.
The worst part is,
remember that.
Like, you know, when you start doing 120 and then you know where all the gems are, there's just like a huge portion where no gems are located.
Yeah, that's my least favorite part of this level is just all the dead running, like, especially on the upper level of just dead space.
It's actually a pretty long level.
Yeah, there is a lot of empty spots, I guess you could say, where there's not really much going on. So it ends up being quite a lengthy level.
Hey guys, to kind of shift gears here a little bit, I'm kind of curious. How did you guys get into speedrunning Spyro? I mean, I know we all, like, most of us grew up with the game, but what made you, like, kind of do the sort of transition into speedrunning? Was there, like, a particular runner or GDQ or something like that?
One at a time. I'm waiting for the runners to say something first.
I go first. So, I pretty much started off watching, like, Siglemic, like a lot of people did. in Super Mario 64. That was pretty much like the only thing that was really around when I was watching stuff. And then eventually I started seeing really like early runners like Saboom. And I sent him a message back when it was like the old DMs that Twitch had, not like the new stuff, the whispers. And I sent him a message. He didn't know me at the time. And I was like, hey, I did this run. Can you give me any tips? And he's just like, yeah, sure, man, but just join this Skype group. And then the rest was history.
So cool. I've heard legends about that Skype group, that many a crazy trick that we still use in the run today were found in that group back in 2013.
Yeah. It was, I wish there was like an archive of it.
What about you, JX? How'd you get into this game? Is JX alive? He's focusing.
I wonder if he
I'm here.
He's in the zone.
I'm here.
there he is.
He's here.
Oh,
Technically
yeah,
not
in the zone.
commentating. He's here.
Yeah, no, he really is. You gotta respect it.
I mean, there's a lot of focus that comes into 120. It's a lengthy run. There's a lot of, it's all movement based, you know, just gotta keep your mind totally on the run. So I respect it.
Yeah, totally true. Totally true. This game really taught me a lot about, like you said, showing respect to, in any speed game, when you watch a speedrunner, if they're just like quietly just there and focused, even if there's like people talking in the chat, it's like, there's something really beautiful and kind of like sacred about that to me. It's like just watching some, like, I don't know, Mario 64 player just grind quietly until they mess up and get really like salty. And it's, I don't know. It's the whole spectrum of emotions that are conveyed without a single word, I think are pretty powerful.
Yeah. I mentioned Siglimic just a little bit ago, but there is one particular video I remember. It was, well, I watched it live, but there was this moment he was like on world record pace, about to finish, and I think it was like right near the end of the like getting the last star or something. I think he either died or bonked in a weird way or something. And you could just see him, like he was completely quiet. But then when that happened, when he lost the run, you just heard him let out like this big, deep sigh. And you could feel all the emotions he was feeling right in that moment without saying a single word.
I guess a more recent run that I can think of too, speaking of Saboom, because he comes in and out. There was a run where he unfortunately, I think, missed. He was on PB pace and missed the last gem. He exited the stage of Metalhead too early, which happens all the time. Very, very common.
Yeah.
And he's usually calm and collected, but it's one of the times where he was just like, things happen.
See, it's funny. He normally is very calm and collected, but there is one particular thing with Saboom. It was in Crash 3. He was running any %, and it was in I was gonna call it Night Flight. That's not the name of the level. The one with the Firefly, I think it's in Crash 3, and right near the end of the portal, he fell into a pit and he let out this like blood-curdling scream. It was not at all what I'd expect out of Saboom. This was years ago at this point, but
That'd horrify me.
can I save that? No, I can't. It sucks.
So it looks like we were 2 for 4 on Toasty skip.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. I missed it. Full
did you?
disclosure. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was going for the super sick triangle drop outside of Town Square. Oh.
Yeah, we're in there now.
Oh yeah, we are in there. So yeah, guys. So just tying up the end of Artisans here, basically, where most of us are entering or in Toasty at the moment. And this level is so crazy as a speed run because like the level of doggy strat evolution is just so awesome. When you pick apart every little last possible like frame you could squeeze out of these dogs, like the possibilities are endless, but we're limited by human level execution and practicality. So we don't end up going for all of like the quote unquote real like task level time saves with the dogs, but we do end up making a few of them jump off the edge or do like the single flame strat that causes them to die early. to get the gem to home in. So there's a lot of insanely deep nuance to that level, especially so early in the run. It's kind of surprising.
It's also one of the few stages that you guys actually take the vortex to instead of just leaving through the menu.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's funny how that's just like frames faster in most situations. Ew, 1148 Artisans. Gross. We were synced?
Sorry.
Dude, is this like a synced race right now? Let's go.
Yeah, it looks like you and Pop are pretty synced right now.
Let's go, Pop.
Nice work.
Let's go, Pop. So yeah, Peacekeeper, second homeworld right here. This is where all the annoying strats start to kind of come in, especially once we get to Dry Canyon. Basically starting on the homeworld movement, where you start to have to hit some of the double spring chests, thief skips. That's where the game really starts to get kind of nitty gritty with the level of punishment. If you miss like a spring chest, for example, or you miss like a wall glide, the game starts to amp up a little here. But we get a nice little fun detour here in Night Flight. One of the loudest tracks in the game. This game is famously has some of the best music ever, but some of the worst mixing for a video game soundtrack. This particular level is extremely loud. So when we were testing when I was testing my mic in the call earlier, I went to this level. I was like, hey, can you guys hear it?
There's something about Night Flight. It is just so loud.
It's so perfect.
Great
though.
song. It's such a great song, but it's so loud.
There's something about the aesthetics of like levels that have like stars in the skybox and have like a darker color palette. They're really they have a lot of soul to them. Levels like this one and Dark Passage, Dark Hollow.
Yeah, those are actually, funny enough, those are some of my favorite stages. Maybe it's because of that, I guess, darker palette. I guess just lends in favor of Spyro 1's art style, I think.
Yeah, I tend to gravitate towards more like the vibrant, like neon colored levels, like Loot, for example, or Crystal Flight is kind of a more brightly rainbowy colored level.
Yeah, Crystal Flight is almost like the inverse of Night Flight in a way.
Oh, Pop taking the lead right now. Let's go. Go, Pop.
Big shout outs to the flight runner Morgan Avery, which I think he's getting back to doing some flight runs, if I'm not mistaken. As of
Really? Very good.
Go, Morgan. Yeah, I think Morgan
Proving us all wrong that that PAL was faster. At least in like non-cycle levels. Crazy. Just awesome.
I will admit I was a little petty when I beat his any percent time and said, I'm running the better version.
Yeah, Morgan is a real enigma. You don't really get to see him much, but from what I understand, especially from some of the Spyro 2 players, he does pop into people's chats every here and there. He's pretty cool. I love like shadowy figures and in speedrunning. It's like, oh, who's this guy? You know, like world record on this IL. You know, it's like, and Morgan's held the Spyro 1 IL records pretty much for the entire game's existence, basically.
Every now and again, Morgan will find some like random one-off tricks too that nobody really considered or maybe even thought of, and then he'll just be like, hey, here's a hypothetical thing, or just some random tricks that may not even help you in the long run, but he just kind of breaks the game in random ways.
It's really cool. We need that a lot. Like just fresh pair of eyes, different thinking.
If you think something is like theoretically possible and he can work it out, he will like grind it out to try it in some way to see if he can make it work.
Yeah, some people's minds are like really well suited for glitch hunting and really testing trial and error type, just like glitch hunting, I guess. It's so crazy because I'm not like that. I'm just like, I just want to play the game and like have fun or whatever. Let all the nerdy gamers take care of it, right? All the glitches and stuff. But when you actually see someone make a breakthrough through like hours of like fruitless labor and efforts, it's something that's really amazing. I know I'm not the type of brain that could even do something like that, so it's impressive to me.
I don't even know where to start when it comes to doing that sort of stuff. It's like, where do you even begin?
If you look at like the way Tuval approached. Hold on, let me get spin jump. If you look at the way Tuval approached getting Coveless for the first time, it's just that he realized there was the open space on the top of the nasty Nork head that you could technically get through if you could only get high enough. But you know, obviously all the movement to get up there is so difficult. So it's like here you are with this the situation that seems almost impossible, you know. But just that little glimmer of hope, no glimmer puns intended, are it's really all you need, I think, if you really believe in yourself. And that's some powerful stuff, even for someone who like doesn't even run the game at all. You could really make a huge difference in a game's speedrun history by having just a glimmer of hope to find something that everyone else is saying is impossible.
I almost want to say I can't remember if it was Tuval, but I think it was him who was discovered in Super Mario Sunshine. He discovered a trick too that everybody started using.
A huge trick.
It was the watermelon race or whatever, right?
Skip, it's called. Yep.
Yep.
It's a cool trick too.
Yeah, it really is.
Route. It looks awesome.
If I'm not I mean, it saves minutes.
He wasn't even I don't even think he was a runner of the game too, so that just shows you like how much just some people can come in and just do something like that, and people start adapting it into their runs.
Dude, so guys, this is looking like a really close race right now. What's the scoreboard looking like? Who's neck and neck with who right now?
I think you and Pop are neck and neck, and then me and Jxzzas are neck and neck.
Yep, that is what it's looking like.
You love to see like a double race scenario like that unfold.
Yeah, it's awesome.
There's still a lot of places where anyone can fall behind or just slowly creep up. Again, this is essentially like a 1 hour 20 minutes of just pure movement. So if somebody just has that much tighter movement, they could just slowly creep ahead as time goes on.
Yeah, that reminds me of I think there was an analysis you were doing of like Saboom's run to your world record at the time, Dayo.
Yeah.
And you were just noticing like how maybe he'd creep up in some sections, but you were better in others, and you'd creep up in those. It's so cool to see where others are comfortable.
There's some spots where you wouldn't even think that someone's saving time on you just by watching them like in a vacuum, but when you watch them side by side with you, it's like, how is he, you know, how does someone save like 3 seconds on you in like a little 10-second just movement-based section?
Yeah.
And the crazy part about that is you could try to incorporate like theoretically better routes, but unless you can actually execute them better, then it's almost meaningless. That's what's really cool about it is there's a strong sense of like if you really believe in the route that you're doing, you have the potential to make it better than the best route done by the best player if they're not as confident. You know what I mean? There's a cool like little dynamic there.
Yeah, I like that aspect of this game. Like, route changes can only be like a couple seconds, and if you're better at one than the other, like you have some opportunity to kind of be unique in how you decide to route out a level.
All right, Clifftown here. I love Clifftown. You know, when I started running this game, I used to hate Clifftown. If you remember, the route for this level used to be way different. We used to get those gems like that. We now save for the end. We used to get those way earlier, and then it'd like end somewhere else. I remember.
Are you talking Doc Shemp?
I'm talking Clifftown, and Dr. Shemp as well, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I remember the old route then. Dude, that's crazy. I gotta look it up. Usually I at least have a little bit of memory, but this one I had no idea.
Yeah, small changes over the years have made Clifftown a little, just a bit different. It's overall mostly the same. Now, what's really cool, and this you might not have known this, Wally actually came up with a really cool Mama Proxy 120 route in Clifftown, and I did some testing with it and did a few runs with it, and I do think it has the potential to be like 1 or 2 seconds faster in a similar vein to Wally Jock.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, where it's like, all right, it's just a matter of execution.
Does that have a reasonable like backup, or is it just a choke point?
I mean, I guess like it's reasonable. I mean, you're gonna lose time if you go for it and miss it, Mama Proxy.
Yeah. So something that you've started implementing more, and I think from you implementing and talking about them more, I think other people have started doing it as well, but jump charges. out of
Yes.
like from a standstill.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
really liking that.
I agree, and you know what? That's something I picked up off of Saboom actually. And when I was like, when I was in like the 123, 124 range, and I was like, dude, how do I get down to this guy's level? And I'm like really trying to. We're doing all the same routes for the most part, and I'm thinking, what are like the core movement differences between me and him? And I noticed he was doing a lot of jump charges out of neutral, and as it turns out, that's much faster. In most cases, if you can do it, and especially if you can do it a lot throughout a run, it saves a lot of time and the thing is when you come out of like a dragon, for example, a lot of times you'll be on like a really narrow like peak or cliff or something like that. For example, the top of Clifftown, you can jump charge out of that dragon, but it's very risky. So there's a lot of spots where you have to analyze the risk reward and sort of practice it out and sort of relearn that little bit of movement just with that little like couple frames saved from a single jump charge. It brings up another interesting point about dragon mashing. Like, should you time or mash the dragons or flames? You know, these are things that we do like many dozens, hundreds of times throughout a run. But if you really like take it apart and try to find the most optimal way for yourself to flame, it's gonna like pay off in a way that you're not gonna be able to see visually when you're playing, but it does add up at the end. And those are just the hardest things to quantify. It's easy to quantify a different route being faster. It's hard to quantify like your movement steadily getting better over the course of years.
Yeah.
Let me see the stream here.
It's
Me and Pop are
beautiful,
still
I'll
pretty
tell
close
you
here.
that much. Yeah, everyone is still kind of in about similar-ish positions.
I like that. I like that. It's a close race. I hate to see Spyrothon come to an end like this. I love you, chat. I love you guys. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional.
I just have to make it go another 363 days, I guess. Have it all year. We'll figure it out.
We'll fill the slots. Probably be a lot of Wally.
I was about to say Wally would be really happy. That's a lot of missed slots for him.
Yeah, Wally single-handedly held down every other Spyrothon to the point where it like became a meme. Like, this is the Wally-thon now. And it's really cool to see the amount of community interaction with this particular Spyrothon. That it really feels like such a the scale of the community effort just rises and rises with each year, and so it doesn't have to be just Wally-thon anymore, which is cool.
Yeah, I love the blend of this OG and Reignited, as well as the handheld games. Like, representation on all three.
We appreciate Wally. We love Wally. Some worship Wally. I might be in that. He's kind of a spiritual force to me. Yeah.
He's still mean to me, so I have to be nice to him, I guess. But he's mean to everyone.
Yeah, he's not mean. That's the thing. It's not meanness.
Oh, no,
Actually,
it's like love.
Yeah.
If he's being mean to you, that just means he's being nice to you.
It just means he likes you.
Pretty much.
Oh my God, Laura's trying to beat the crap out of Wally. Oh my God, someone call the police. Laura, you're going to jail.
Oh, that happens all the time. I'm pretty used to it at this rate, you know. It's pretty on, pretty going.
Getting beat up. Makes sense.
I always forget how long of a stage Ice Cavern is. I love the stage, but it is a very long stage.
Yeah, it's a very lengthy one. I think it's in the top 3 longest if you count just the level itself, not the homeworld movement.
Fill the other 2 slots then. What would the other 2 slots fill?
Lofty and what's the other one? Dark Passage.
Dark Passage or Haunted Tower, I think.
Yeah, that's one of those.
Lofty feels like way faster than I give it credit for then, I guess, but that's probably just because of the insane supercharges we're going to be seeing later.
Oh yeah.
Probably the scariest supercharge in this entire game. At least in my opinion, I think it is.
Which one?
The one in Lofty.
What supercharge am I most scared of? I wouldn't say lofty, to be honest with you. I'd probably talk a little bit more about like the string of supercharges from right when you enter High Caves, the homeworld there, all the way to the end of a Wizard Peak. There's about 4 different very precise supercharges that you need to hit, and if you hit them all, then you're like saving 20 or 30 seconds. And if you miss any of them, you lose 10 seconds each.
Yeah, bike caves for 120 seems pretty difficult.
Yeah.
And then that's just like the second of 3 or whatever.
Yeah. And then so in the home world, you know, you touch the dragon, then you got to hit that perfect double kill and not get screwed over by the druid. And then same thing in Wizard Peak, you know, you gotta nail the supercharge and not get screwed over by the geometry of the ramps cutting off your charge. There's a lot of accidental stuff that you just have to be prepared for, which is kind of annoying. This Magic Crafters for me, now that that I'm doing like these really high level, high concept supercharge routes, this homeworld is a real sort of gatekeeper for me in my runs, for sure. So let's get into it. I do love Magic Crafters though, I want to say, like just aesthetically speaking, this homeworld, like I would say, speaks to me the most. I love the waterfall. Waterfall. I love the waterfall. Waterfall. Oh shit! Come on, stairs. Yeah, I love the waterfall. I know. Pop's catching up here. Pop's about to beat me.
It's still very interesting to see how everyone is in, like, relatively speaking, about the same paces they have been since I guess you guys originally diverged.
Yeah,
Which I wanted to say was around Toasty.
Yeah, around Toasty was pretty much a big shift.
Oh my god. Oh hey, while there's a bunch of Spyro people watching right now, I just want to say to any of you guys, especially to those of you who play like the more random, you know, Spyro handheld games. They're not random; they're special. Yeah, everyone go submit to GDQ. GDQ registrations just opened on Friday.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be really cool to see one of those in there.
Hey, have a good night, Laura. We love you.
And I'm sure that the staff, I mean, I obviously don't know what they would decide, but I'm sure they'd want to see, you know, a different type of Spyro game from what they've accepted over the past several years.
There's been a lot of really cool like GDQ hot fixes with the GBA games I know, and like Hero's Tale, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But no, for the actual like event, yeah, there's not been much representation. Just in general with Spyro.
I like
except
that.
for Spyro 1 and Spyro 2 way back in the day.
I was gonna say, you know, way back when there was a decent amount of Spyro, and then it kind of just fell off. But I feel like as of late, it's been kind of getting a resurgence in general in terms of speedrunning.
Yeah, I agree, and not just from GDQ, but just from the general interest. I think for this game series, I think there's more eyes on this game as a not just this game, but this series as a speedrun potential thing, now more than ever. You know, and that's like with the help of, I think, a lot of, like I was saying earlier, there's a lot of like sort of cross intrigue from like different parts of the fandom, which I think is really multifaceted and beautiful.
I think this just means we need a Spyro 4 to come. Yeah? Yeah?
Spyro 4? Insomniac, are you listening? They're definitely not.
The demand is there. Come on, give us it.
We want Spyro 4. You guys ever hear people refer to Enter the Dragonfly as Spyro 4?
Yeah, Wally.
Wally does that? Oh my god.
Yes, he does.
Dang it, Wally. Why am I not surprised? First crazy supercharged strat right there.
Oh, Maple does too. The 2 ETD runners.
Yeah, the 2 ETD players. I'm not surprised.
You guys are living memes. You guys cannot live it down.
I know a lot of people who still call Wrath of Cortex Crash 4 too, so.
Yeah, yep.
Big shout outs to Toto. He calls Wrath of Cortex Crash 4 still.
Nice.
Oh.
seeing the flame charges in Wizard Peak is the most satisfying thing because the window to hit those flame charges is very tight.
You talking about here in High Caves or in Wizard Peak?
High caves, yes.
I was gonna say, what in the world? How are you so far ahead?
No,
I mixed up my Magic Crafter levels.
That's fair. That's completely
understandable. Dude, I still do that. I still call Dark Passage Dark Hollow every time.
I do too. And they're like on the complete different side of the like what point of the game you're playing them too.
Yeah, doesn't matter how long you've been playing. All these levels are just like a adjective noun place.
Yeah.
You know, Dark Hollow, Sunny Spring, you know, whatever.
High caves. I don't even know how the caves are high, but they are high.
Low electric waste processing plant. Is that gonna be a new level?
It's gonna be in Spyro 4. We have it right here.
It's Spyro 4. Yep. There we go, confirmed.
Kind of sounds like a Crash Bandicoot level, just because
It
of the
does.
industrial feel.
Let's see if we can nail bike caves here. Pray for me.
Full mile.
Yes. Oh yeah, baby. Ladies, please hold your applause. I know.
One little thing that I always love is when you charge into that key chest in the homeworld and you do the pivot so that all the gems home in.
Yeah.
I will never get tired of that.
Yeah, and you know what? It takes an actual runner of the game like yourself to really appreciate that because it's such a dangerous game of chicken you play in order to get that pivot without letting go of square too early and without letting go of it too late to where like the gems like fly past you.
Yeah, you have that. You have that moment when you first learn about it that you bonk into the chest, or you know something goes wrong horribly because you tried to go for it.
Yep.
And you get an appreciation for the risk that you're putting in just to get those gems to home in.
Yeah, just for like a half-second time save, maybe. You know, you're willing to put the whole run on the line for it, essentially.
I think the last run I did, I stopped my supercharge right before hitting the chest.
Yeah.
We've all done it many times, for sure. The cute Spyro Japanese cover art. I gotta say, like, not just the Japanese cover art, but I love, like, just the concept art, especially the box art for all the Spyro games. Like, I just put out a YouTube video today that used, like, the Spyro 2 box art on it. I'm like, God dang, like, no background, thumbnail, or anything is gonna match how iconic this looks, you know? So, yeah.
Also, a very big shout out to the Japanese Spyro being the name of the boss in Spyro 2 because of how it looks in Japanese.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, I love like those little odes to the older games. When we were watching, I think it was maybe Spyro 3, we were watching 100 Egg. We saw they collect Pete, who's like the original name for Spyro, and green, which is what Spyro's original color is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a
I didn't know that
dragon.
that was a.
Yeah,
thing
I didn't
in
know
that
that either
game.
until I saw that and I like connected it in my mind. There's a lot of like little funny connections like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Dragons like named after you know, like programmers or whatever, things like that. All right, Wizard Proxy. Oh yes. Sorry, am I getting too hyped up for myself here? I'll scale it back.
Yes. Like what
Yeah,
you
we're
were
gonna have to
say.
ask you to. We're gonna have to ask you to calm down a little bit, sir.
Right.
That's for the chat to do.
Yeah, leave the
You
hype.
better be hyping up though.
Yeah,
Before you know,
solid.
there's gonna be another
We got any
explosion on
sips?
screen.
Yeah, any sippers in the chat? What kind of juice is Spyro drinking in that emote? The tears of fairies. All the fairies he's cheated on.
Fairies.
And probably the tears of the fairies in high caves because they don't get to give them any love in the 120.
They're all crying. They just stand there alone in an empty husk of a level after Spyro leaves, too. Just comes in their life and ruins everything.
Their entire role was for that stage, and you take it away from them.
Save. Shout out for getting Dayo the race organized. Dude, thanks, Phoenix. It's okay, I read it. God tier streamer over here. Thank you, Phoenix. I love you. Yeah, we were gonna originally do this race as a open bracket, not bracket, but like open forum. Anyone could join. Try to get like a dozen, random, new players to join, and try to have that all on the stream. But obviously that's like a logistical nightmare. But we do that in my stream on my Discord every now and again. Once in a blue moon, we'll organize a 120 race. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to see like 12, 16 different people like trying their hand at Spyro again.
Yeah, like there is not really much else that's like a big just community race like that. It's one of the best moments you can have.
Brings me back to the speedrun lives days.
Yeah,
It still exists, but like
I'm
way
still
back in
making
its
my SRL
prime.
races every time. I should have made one for this race, actually, now that I think about it. I messed up. Laura took my #1 spot on SRL. Evil.
Really?
I was going for Rat Proxy. She just, oh my god, I'm so angry. We were doing any %, and I was going for Rat Proxy, and Laura just goes and just gets a first try Rat, and I'm like,
No way.
20 minutes. Oh my god.
Oh, was that in one of her recent streams that she clipped?
Oh, this was a while ago, but Laura has been gaming pretty hard in 90% lately. Yeah. Oh, recently, Laura. It's so funny when I can talk smack about Laura because she's gone now. She's in bed, having nightmares.
She's gonna come back and yell at you. It's okay.
Yeah.
I could very well see that happen.
Yeah, definitely. I'll bite my tongue, but I will say I love Laura's rage whenever something goes wrong. I mean, call me sadistic, but it's just funny about people like letting out like their frustration in like a chat or something in all caps. Like
There's so often too that she'll send me a message just like I am this close to just having a stroke.
I'm about to break.
This game is too much for me.
That is really how it feels sometimes. I know exactly what that feeling is. It's like, this is too much for me to like emotionally handle right now. And it's a freaking kids game. Like, that's the funniest thing about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing 120, when it's like almost, it's like double the time of any % more or less.
There's such a specific level of focus you need to have when you're in a good run. And the feeling, like if you are on a good run and it dies, that energy is just completely gone. I don't know of anybody that could like go from a run that's near the end that dies and then just pick it up and just keep going and have like another PB pace. Like that's very difficult.
That's like a
Sagoon
skill.
is the only
Yeah.
person I can think of.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point.
Because he'll have a bad run and then he'll be like, I don't want to do another run because something broke it. And then he's like, yeah, you know what? Actually, I'll just do one more. He keeps the grind going when he's really invested in it.
You have to. I like to imagine that I adopt that same ideology. Again, I don't mean to like sound not too humble here, but I really.
No, I believe that, and I don't think that's something that is. I think you've attained that recently. Is what I'm trying to say. Like over the past, year or two.
It is such a hard. It's like harder than practicing the run itself. Is practicing how to deal with your own like inner torment and self-loathing when you're doing a speed run. Not to get too like dark and but this is like real feelings that you go through when you're trying to grind for a PB, whether you're at a high level or a low one.
I feel doubly is hard for someone like you who's been running the game too for such a long time, and sometimes you don't see the improvements or something happens and you're just like, how does this keep happening?
Yeah, that definitely is the case for me. But there's a lot there's a lot to take a step back and appreciate as well. In my case, I have a great stream. This is a great stream, by the way. Like no matter how bad any of our runs are, like we still get to just chat and have a good time, and it's an amazing race, So
Yeah, and just like you said, whenever you set up races, at that point, who cares what time you get? You're just having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to adopt that same mentality to when you're by yourself in your room, so it's like, all right, well, we're just gonna have fun, even though like inside I'm like screaming and hating it. You know, you just like deep inside what the right call is, and that's something you have to kind of learn actually about yourself. You learn so much about yourself through speedrunning; it's actually ridiculous.
Get to see some terrace love here. Makes me happy.
I'm wondering if I'll hit God Cycle here. I'm not sure.
To see God Cycle.
I'm not gonna get it. That's alright.
God Cycle is like seeing the stars align.
It really is. You need perfect. I'm not exaggerating when I say you need like humanly perfect execution for the first half of Terrace in order to get the God Cycle.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's cool that you can get rewarded with that level of execution. I think that's amazing. That's like a cool.
It's such a unique level in that regard. Like this, it's a setup and then like setup for the cycle and then execute the cycle. You don't see it quite that segmented in any other level.
Well, I've got some really good cycles though, Dayo.
Yeah, good cycles are fun. It's crazy. You'll learn so much about like the cycles as you mess them up. You know, you'll get a feeling of like, all right, I can't hit God Cycle anymore, so I can take exactly this much amount of screwing up before I have to hit the next cycle. And as like the runs pile on and dozens of runs turn into hundreds of runs, you become so acutely aware of every like millisecond that's passing and how that's affecting like the literal game world around you. I think that's such a stimulating part about speedrunning this game at 120% specifically.
Jax unfortunately got flopped off the wall in Blowhard. Classic Blowhard doing classic Blowhard things.
Oh, exit a level early. I think MrPop is going to be coming up.
Ooh.
Yeah, this just got spicy right now.
This is the worst nightmare I feel like in any 120 run, is just exiting a stage that much faster, or like way too fast. You just do it a split second too fast because you want to save just a slight frame.
Yeah, and Dayo, you talk about this quite a bit. Is like trying to over optimize the game, and then the game tells you to slow down because you're trying to go too fast.
It's true. It's true. There's a whole like you have to listen to the game.
Yeah.
You can't just push it and push it and push it. It's gonna push back at you if you try to exit a level like at perfect level of optimization.
Yeah, like exiting a level too early is a very blatant example, but I mean, there's examples of it everywhere. You know, pivoting, getting bad turns, bad lines because you're trying to optimize stuff. It's everywhere, and getting comfortable with what the game allows you to do allows you to actually go faster. It's like this weird. If you let it tell you, then you can actually go as fast as possible.
Yeah, and it's true also with Sparks especially. You really can't blame Sparks in this game. Sparks's mechanics are so consistent in this game that if Sparks misses a gem and it looks like BS to you, there's a reason for that. It's because you're standing still or you're walking or it's on an incline above you or something like that. Even though on flat ground it would be fine. And there's like just a million little examples of that where if you start trying to over optimizing, you're going to start getting mad at Sparks. But really, it's this sort of subconscious like inward hatred where it's like, oh, you don't know when to blame the game and when to blame yourself, and over the years I've learned to blame myself instead of the game. That's like a conduit for construction, like for building a new foundation for yourself.
I feel like to sort of like roll off of that, it's just like as a speedrunner, your brain just thinks like, all right, I know how to make this slightly more optimal, I think. So then you do something you think is more optimal, but as you said before, it's just like you're going too fast for the game as opposed to being like in sync with the game.
Yes, exactly. And hey, Thrasher, thanks for the gift, man. We love you, Thrasher. Alright, heading over to Bog here. see a lot of you guys in terrace right now.
Yeah.
I see it. I see it.
Yeah, one of the rockets didn't activate. I
Yeah, so
didn't aim
common.
my flame properly, and then I just charged off, so I had to
Yeah,
go
talk
around
about
back
like
again.
talk about like a real micro nuance is just hitting any of the rockets when they're on the ground, like in terrace specifically. You have to aim your flame so that you're coming down out of the air with a charging flame, so that way it like hits the ground instead of like the slight air above the ground.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so small of like a difference in height, but it makes the difference for that hitbox.
Yeah, which is really weird compared to like the firework or rocket in Clifftown, which it feels very consistent to hit like every time. You kind of get a feel for like, okay, you know the distance you need to be or whatever, and then you can always hit it.
Yeah, and it's again because that hitbox is on the bottom of it, so we are lucky that we can hit it from underneath.
Mhm. There's a great video of Spudley Man missing it 51 times. He just keeps going for it.
Come on.
I think it was in the middle of a race, so he was just, just keep going.
It's like, don't worry about me, guys. Dude, that's how I felt when my I had like a soft lock. You remember at GDQ? This was like way back. Not way back, like at that old ass. What was that? Like GDQ 2019 SGDQ or something?
Yeah, yeah.
We had a 6-way race in the practice room, and it was a good race. And then my game crashed it in Clifftown, or like one of my my setup was like scuffed or something, and so the dragon like was just shaking forever. And I was like, I felt the same way as you were saying with Spudley, but I was like, go on without me. And everyone was like, no, we'll stop. I was like, no.
Yeah, I think we like tried to do maybe a vortex right after that, but it was just like the energy was gone at that point.
Yeah, that's so funny how the energy is so important to like getting a race going or something like that.
We were saying, let's go get some food or something.
Classic.
Go check out the arcade or something.
Pander, thanks for the raid. We love you, Pander.
Pander.
We're getting close to the very first Guanton. Can we get a hitless Guanton?
Yes, can we do it? Pray. Cast your votes in the chat right now. I don't know if there's a prediction, but just believe in me, please. Post a sip if you think I'm gonna be damageless here. Oh, what? God damn, the base sippers did not come out in full force. The first frog.
I thought you were gonna get cut by the last guy, because I swear to God, you barely miss him, and he's gonna hit you from 5 miles away.
Oh, yeah.
It was the only one with the sips, that's why. We needed more sip support there. Well, thanks for believing in me anyways, guys. Keep chat.
We have 3 other Guantons coming up soon. I'm very interested to see if anyone can hit a damageless. It's not easy, I swear.
I'm believing that at least one of you guys will hit a damage list.
Yeah.
I'm believing it.
That's the thing, like, you obviously want to be damageless, but you don't want to play it safe. So that's why you don't see it too often, because taking a hit, it's not going to be that big of a deal. You'd rather just try to play fast and, you know.
And that's one of those rooms where if you play with a lot of hesitation, you'll still get hit, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
So you might as well just
Popcorn.
like charge in and go for it.
As long as you're not sparkless, well, even then, being sparkless in there isn't really the worst thing in the world, because the gems on the like upper edge right after Deimos is very, I think that's his name. They're all like in a line, so luckily everything is like really easy to get.
I just
So it's not
exited
the
a
worst
level
spot to
early
be
right
in,
there.
Sparks.
I'm giving MrPop every chance right now. I don't know why I exited that level right there, but
No, you exited early again?
Yeah, yeah,
I exited in like a really weird spot that made no sense at all. So that was cool.
Clearly, it's because the thief beat you and you could not stand for this.
Yeah, the shame was too strong.
Wait a second. Like, in just like the middle of the level?
Yes.
Yeah.
After a couple, I collected a couple fan chests, and I was like, all right, boom, pause, exit. Level of autopilot. Too much. Yeah, 4 Spyro players, therefore Spyro 4 confirmed, actually.
Oh, there you go. Unfortunately, we won't get to see Laura launch here.
I'll go for it. Why not?
What was that cool? I was watching you do your run to prepare for this, and you did this really cool strat in treetops that wasn't lower launch, but it was something else.
It's through the spikes, right?
Yeah, I hadn't seen that before.
I'll go for it right here. Let's see if I can get through.
Do you
the
almost
spikes.
just exit the stage again?
Yeah. Oh, we got it. Let's go.
Oh yeah,
Alright.
the clip.
Nice.
There was a guy. That was a fun story. I forgot who it was. If anyone in the chat wants to jog my memory here, there was a person on Twitter that actually found that a casual Spyro fan, not a speedrunner at all, was like, "Hey, you can go through this part. Isn't that cool?" And then Laura retweeted it. It was like, "Guys, everyone, look at this." Now they're a legend.
Nice.
Except I forgot their name, so apparently not that. My bad.
They're still a legend because you remembered exactly what they did.
Yeah.
I got
If
the
dug-
damageless
if I dug it up-
Squanton.
Nice.
Yeah, GG. Let's go, believers. Syrup, rotis.
Contrary to popular belief, you do not need to get that red thief early here. It is not the most important thing in the world.
No,
Actually
it's not.
slower, right? Technically.
Yeah, it is. In my opinion.
Like
Depending on your
it's
execution.
probably so small, but I feel like because you have to wait for the animation.
I know so many people who have like missed the thief, me included, to be fair. And then I was like, oh man, well, I didn't get early thief. This is horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen like Chris and every different 120 player. This was like over the years. It's like they missed the quick thief and they're like, ugh. It's like, what are you ugging about, dude? It's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, he's along the way once you get up into Stone Knot. So
Yeah.
It
I think
goes to show
I
how
think you
much
have.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think you actively have to try to avoid him if you're like doing Stone 9. Like,
I'm going for an out of bounds here. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, with the 3 boxes.
Nice.
that was very clean.
Thank you. This route is arguably a second or two slower if executed properly. So let's go ahead and lose that bread.
The real question is, does it affect your cycles? Do you load the chunk?
No, it
early
doesn't
enough?
affect the Metalhead cycles at all. You have to get
Okay.
a certain distance from Metalhead to load in his pylon cycles.
Yeah, I think it was Wally who was telling me that there's like a certain, like when you hit certain spots, the chunks of the level load, and then that's when the cycles start. That's why
actually
the
something we
second
didn't-
phase is very consistent.
Yeah, that's something that I personally didn't know about the game for like many years.
Yeah.
Until like the last year or two, did I really start thinking about the game in terms of level chunks that load across certain loading zone areas in a level. Like in Lofty, you'll notice some areas are really laggy, but then afterwards they're really smooth because like the level chunk is like loading the next part of the level, and so that's why it'll eat your glide or something like that. So if you can avoid those little loading chunk, like little border areas between level chunks, then that's how you can sort of optimize the sort of like engine itself to work in your favor. Which is something I never thought about at all, like for the first like 6 years of like playing this game.
Yeah, I thought that one charge glide in Lofty was just a crapshoot until you mentioned that very recently.
Yeah.
No,
if you aim a
the
little
one right at the
left-
beginning.
Yeah.
Yes. If you aim a little bit to the left with that, you'll never drop the glide because it avoids the level loading chunk. Even though there is lag, the lag spike doesn't like. It's not. As
Yeah,
bad.
that central area, I don't think there's any way you're gonna control the lag to not happen.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to the Red Spring chest.
Yeah, what got me thinking about that was in Haunted Towers, some of you guys may know there's like a wizard proxy in this level, right? In Haunted Towers. And if you get a high enough wizard proxy, you can go over the scenery of the castle and fly into the castle and save a bunch of time. Well, if you fly in the wrong way, then you'll load 3 different level chunks at once, which the game doesn't want you to do, 3 or 4 of them. And so it actually crashes the game. It's one of the few examples of a place you can go in 3D space in this game that causes a loading issue and crashes the game. It's crazy that is even a thing that exists in this game to me because it's such a solidly built game.
I just love how this conversation is going with just how, oh yeah, we're talking about the chunks for Metalhead, and now we're just learning about all the chunks in the game right now and how much it actually like really affects certain parts of the game pretty significantly, or how it can do it significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But, you know, to be fair, like a lot of these things are very just kind of nerdy intricacies that aren't going to have like the hugest bearing on your gameplay, but when added up together over like years of like, oh, that's interesting, oh, that's cool, oh, I don't want to go too fast there, you start to like just get this really good grasp of the, like I was kind of saying earlier, you start to really understand the world around you, which is, I think, one of the coolest parts of speedrunning.
Definitely starts making like certain aspects, like the metalhead second pylon section, make a lot more sense on why it's always consistent, and then it just, I don't know, it's almost like you can, like you said, you're like, you understand how the world works.
Yeah, and to like go the extra step there with that thought about the metalhead cycles, the first cycle is really consistent too, if you know what parts of the level you can push up against the wall in certain parts leading up to the fight to trigger the cycles earlier, and if you get stuck in these parts where there's gems, then you'll get a bad first cycle. And so it's like you're thinking like, okay, I don't want to stand in this corner, but I can stand like a couple feet away from this corner, and it's never going to load the fight. All right, we just got kissed by our first fairy. Hype in the chat. Can I get some sippers?
Oh, that's right. This is your first kiss because you did the entire.
Oh yeah, I did bike caves, correct.
I was about to say, nah, no, you didn't. This isn't the first one, you liar. And I remember you did that.
I was ready to believe you too. I was like, yeah, you're right. Nice wizard proxy right there. Squeezing between the wizard and the wall to bounce up super duper high. That wasn't even a super duper high one. Like I was saying earlier, you can go over the walls of the castle and potentially crash the game. Which is awesome.
That wizard proxy, it's like when I first learned how to do it, I was like, oh, this isn't hard at all, and now I just can't do it ever.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those tricks that kind of comes and goes under your hands. It's funny to me, the sort of like learning process for like a glitch or a trick in a speed run where it's, you try it, you know, you don't know it at all at first, and then you sort of start to get it, and you think you're better at it than you really are initially when you get it the first couple times, and it's like, all right, I got this now, and then you have to go through another cycle of like, okay, now I suck at it again, and now I have to relearn it, and that'll happen 2, 3, 4 times before you really gain like an adequate knowledge of like a little sequence break or trick or something like wizard proxy.
And Pop unfortunately missed it and went off the cliff. I don't know if that part was intentional or not.
No,
but
you don't want to do that. It's understandable though. That happens to me all the time.
Because I figured if you miss it, then you just go for the supercharge backup.
Yeah, if you miss it and live, then you can do the supercharge backup. It's technically faster if you miss it and live and don't kill the wizard, which also happens sometimes. Then it's faster to let the wizard run back to a spot, then just try wizard proxy again. That's actually
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, right.
I never considered that either.
Yeah, I just blew your mind. It's a doable backup. I've done it.
I didn't even know he went back to like his normal position. I just figured he stood in that one spot to the left afterwards.
Yeah, he goes back between the 2 spots.
Another really satisfying thing too is watching the flame charges on the knights here, the floating armor, because it's a very, very, very tight window to get the flame charge on them.
Yeah, and especially on those descending stairs, you really got to consider that the gem spawns at a certain height, and depending on where you are, if you're more at the bottom of the gem spawn, then it'll be easier for Spyro to home it in, versus if you're above it. So when you're descending the stairs in the yellow fairy room, that's the hardest part, flame charging in the entire game, because you're above the spawn points of the gems. So you have to like sort of zigzag your way through the air as you go down to them so that you can finagle the gems from their spawn when you flame.
Now that you're saying that too, it makes sense on why whenever I try to flame charge these guys, I usually jump flame charge instead of, I see a lot of people doing flame charge jump.
Yeah. And so that's for like the guys that are laying down, right? That you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, it's because those guys have a different spawn point for their gem. Their gem spawns higher than the ones that are standing, and that's why we have to have different movement for them.
Like some of these things I just don't know offhand because I'm one of the runners that I watch how people do things, and then I would get like a simple explanation on how mechanics would work, and then I would just try to adapt it to how I would run the game.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good way to go about it, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. That's a really great way to.
Like if you give yourself a chance to feel it yourself and maybe come up with some ideas of what's going on, and then when somebody explains what's going on or what our best understanding is, you can put that into context.
Yep. I also want to give a huge shout out to Toto again for he always, when people ask him questions like, hey, because he does a lot of Spyro 3 running,
Yeah.
be like, hey, what should I do for this, or how should I go about this? He's always like, my first recommendation is just watch how people do it and then try it for yourself so you can get a feel for it, and then do it how you think, whatever works for you is how you should do it.
Yep.
But that starting point of like watch someone do it correctly, then like adapt it your way. That's like very key. You know, when I was learning gulp skip for the first time, I intentionally, because I was curious about that exact concept, I intentionally did not watch a video of someone doing it and copying it exactly, which put me at this significant handicap where I had to just kind of listen to the verbal sort of the verbal diarrhea from the Twitch chat of like, no, go higher, no, go over here, do this, do that, and it made the whole learning process. It took me 2 hours to get my first gulp skip. If I'd have just had a video there, it probably would have taken me like a half hour at the most.
Hey, I can relate exactly to that.
Yeah, there's some good footage.
2 hours to do that.
Yeah, there's some good guides at this point for it too. But hey, it's part of the fun.
Yeah, it was. I intentionally did that, knowing I was handicapping myself.
Yeah. I gotta say,
it was fun to do it that way. I will admit.
I gotta say, I really like having the stream up, because if I feel like I missed a gem, I can just glance over and like see what I did like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun, actually.
that is one of my favorite parts too about my capture card has inherent like delay to it, so I can use that.
Yeah,
As sort of my thing to see it, because sometimes I can't hear the audio in full too, because sometimes I'm just like, should I miss that gem? And then I can just glance over and see that I did in fact get it.
yeah. I wasn't sure if I left a fountain too early, so I was thinking, maybe did I miss that red gem? Is there like a strong chest where if you leave too early, there's usually red gem in haunted towers? And thankfully, I didn't.
Nice. And I would just want to say I hate these turtles in Dark Passage. It's probably my favorite stage in the game, but I hate these turtles. If you do not charge them head on, they're going to hit you.
Yeah.
You cannot deviate your path.
A lot of times you have to bait them, actually. This is something that a lot of newer players don't know, is if you know that you're on like a destruction path for yourself with one of the turtles, just bait them, you know? You're better off not taking the damage.
Just do a quick hop.
Yeah, just do a quick short hop out the way, no biggie.
I've learned like any that you need to adjust your movement from going like at them head on, just let them shoot and then jump. Like just wait that half second. It's worth it instead of taking the damage.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of sections in Dark Passage also where you have to turn around and hit a turtle, and so there's a whole kind of camera manipulation for their AI as well. When you consider that, you want to not be looking at them all the way, but you don't want to be intentionally using the camera to stay not looking at them, because that affects their AI negatively as well. So you have to like turn the camera, you have to let the camera turn naturally towards them the perfect way, which is sort of not the most optimal way to turn around, like kind of spin jump towards them, but it's like it's a way that starts to become just like natural, you know. Again, going back to the topic, like you have to go as fast as the game will let you, so you have to do a slightly, like, you know, that's not a piece of movement you shouldn't optimize, because you'll just get hit.
Yeah, once you start learning how the game, if you can just get into your head like how the game runs, then you just get in sync with it. And I feel like Spyro 1 is probably one of the best games, at least in like the original trilogy, for this, just because there aren't too many like insane tricks. Like there's not really a lot of proxies, there's not like there's not double jump, you know, there's not a whole bunch of these crazy things. So the craziest it usually gets is maybe there's like a one-off like animation, squeeze proxy, then you got some wall glides here and there. For the most part, it's just kind of like you're playing the game as intended for the most part, and you just gotta play it how it is as fast as you can, but at the pace at which the game expects you to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful bridge right there. Love that bridge. Me and that bridge are homies.
Trying to think of what bridge you're talking about. Oh,
I see.
yeah,
You know what I'm
I
talking
know
about.
it now.
You already know what the heck is going on. All right, Lofty time. Where are my Lofty hypers at? Hey, post a cute emote if Lofty's your favorite music track and your least favorite casual level. I know that's the case for some of you.
It's funny because that's what I was thinking in my head, but honestly, I love Lofty. I think it's a great stage. And I love the music, obviously, too. But I think I like it. It is one of the stages you can definitely tell, and in prototypes and all that sort of stuff, it shows even more. It's one of the first stages that they definitely had like down, like what they wanted to do. So I really like this stage.
Oh, was this one of the more developed stages in the prototype? I never even thought about that.
Yes, I think I was talking to Wally the other day, and we were talking about the prototypes and just like promotional stuff regarding the game. And Lofty is a stage that is shown like a lot. Funny enough, me and him were getting into this conversation because we were talking about the single red jump chest in the game.
Oh yeah, you cannot talk about this level without talking about that chest. Phoenix Octi wants me to recreate the #1 spot. Here, I'll give you guys the YouTube thing when we get up there. No worries. I'll make it nice and uncomfortable for you guys. Don't worry. But alas, we are just getting to the Supercharge right now. Not even. We got to clear out this little section. Another cycle-based spot here.
I can't wait to see everyone do this, to be honest, because there's I think like what, 2 different ways more or less that you could approach the Supercharge.
Yeah, more than that actually. There's
Yeah.
there's two different high-level ways you can do it, like generally speaking. And then at the lower level, you can do a number of non-supercharge ways where you like go around the backside of the supercharge ramp, or you go like the vortex route and clean up that area first. And so there's yeah, it gets pretty crazy.
It's a very open-ended level.
I do
Yeah,
this weird thing because I'm sort of in like the lower to mid tier, I would say. I just supercharge into the lock chest. Even despite the fact that he is like right in the way, I just go that way so I can clean out the middle area first and just get that done.
No, yeah, you can totally just get the fairies, like instead of going for the supercharged jump to the inner area. It's hard to describe verbally.
Speaking of fairies, a little jester there. Not really a fairy, but the little jester there was being a bit of a nuisance to hum.
Is that Jester a fairy for you? You like Jester?
Yes.
Man, that was a mess. We got
He
him.
was juking you. He had the schmoves.
I know. He had me walking. Like, he messed me up. I couldn't charge. I lost all sense.
Yo, what up, Baboon? Ever since I accused Baboon of not hanging out for anything besides Spyro, makes it a point to come in here and be like, hey, you know I'm here, right? Like, yeah. You're a true believer. I'm sorry for judging your book like a cover, or however the saying goes. I love you, Baboon.
Shout outs to the red spring chest.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to do the thing. And in #1, the best spring chest in the entire game, a one-of-a-kind, one that you'll never see again, that's more unique than your mom, your sister, and your wife all put together. This is the red spring chest in Lofty. Poggers in the chat.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm glad I managed to catch it at the last second. I too can't help myself but to always point it out whenever I'm doing a 120 run. Even if I'm like by myself, I'm just like, there you are, you unique little spring chest.
Special. It's so ununique. I hate it because it's so ununique. It's so unceremonious when you collect it, especially as a double the way I do it.
It's so weird too. There were a lot more. If you played any of the prototype builds, there were a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, I think Dry Canyon had a whole bunch of them because the gems in that stage were like, the gems per second is so much worse than the prototypes. So there were like way more chests. But it's crazy to see it. It almost feels like Lofty was just so well constructed that it just didn't feel the need to really adjust what was there.
That's an interesting little game theory there. I like that. Lofty's already perfect. Why should we change it? Meanwhile, getting lag spiked and like missing your input.
To be fair, you are supposed to take a whirlwind there.
Yeah. You're right.
Pretty sure in the prototype, the balloon dudes could hit you out of the air, which is a fun fact.
Oh, yeah.
Balloon guys had an extra attack. Badass. Dude, my favorite like thing that was in the prototype that isn't in the final game is the boat in Gnorc Cove.
I love that
The
boat.
one that you have to walk along.
You have to walk along with it.
Yeah, they didn't code it, unfortunately, to let you just sit on there. So it's almost
Imagine
like a little
if it worked like
Kaizo
that.
thing, as people call it.
That's Kaizo
Oh,
boat.
yeah.
Real life, you're on a boat, you have to walk along with it. Or you're in a car, you have to like run along with it while you're in it.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yes. Oh my god, barely snuck out the Wally strat right there. Wally,
Whoa.
blessing this run for Spyrothon. Let's go.
Wally and blessing you. All right, what have you done with Wally?
Yeah, I know. The different Wally that I know.
This isn't the Wally that I've known.
Okay, this
I hate
backup is
these
insane
enemies.
right now. Oh my god, I'm a
Oh.
legend. I got light.
Speaking of the prototype too, I actually don't think the whirlwind is there. So I think I was actually watching Wally try his best to get all of those enemies like up by doing that. He couldn't get them all, but he got like, I think either I want to say 3 of them.
Little triangle drop. I love that the little mechanics that appear useless from a casual standpoint can be inserted in the most tasteful of ways in this game, like the triangle drop, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Huge example. It's so amazing for repositioning and just a whole bunch of things like hitting the pedestals in the right angle.
The triangle drop mixed with the glide cancel, because there is a lot of cooldown on the landing animation if you don't cancel it with the glide. So it's like you're just mixing. That's one of the best things about this game. You just chain together all these fun inputs. It really makes you feel like you have a lot of control over what's happening. And even if some like mechanics seem arbitrary, they're just an additional tool for you to try to artistically paint onto this canvas that is your movement.
Nice.
The Pop
Jxzzas.
take a
Got
dip.
the full. Got to the end of the level with the.
He's
Supercharge
actually
thing locked.
he's really good at that.
At what?
It's always the last jump that is absolutely terrifying.
The bounce that gets you up to the vortex with the supercharge in Lofty.
Yep.
Oh, he got it. Nice. He got the bump. Nice.
Yes.
Or bump, not bounce. Yeah.
It feels like you shouldn't go as high as it ends up making you go, but
Yeah, I don't know if
you
you
in
guys know,
fact go that high.
JX actually does a unique lofty route, which
Mhm.
arguably is faster than any other route.
Yeah.
I think I just golded it, to be honest.
What was it?
Nice.
Holy, this is a
Nice.
killer lofty.
Yeah,
Let's
your
go.
lofty has been ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, what is this?
I'm on PB pace, so yeah, I
Let's
just
go,
golded it.
Nice.
Nice.
Dude, hype for JX, man. Let's go.
I'm going for the standard cake, not going for single cake. I respect it.
Yeah, respectable. No, that's a respectable decision.
It's
Yeah.
scary. It's also a very nice place to die often and lose your runs.
Yeah, I died there actually, I think, on this run on single pick.
I thought I saw Pop take a dip into the lava. I don't know where it was though. I guess that's not in lava, so that might have been during the Jxzzas fight.
It's actually pronounced Jacques.
Jxzzas.
Actually, it's Jxzzas.
A really cool optimization with these whirlwinds and Jacques that really Dayo kind of popularized is like jumping along the edge of them and then jumping into the whirlwind that way to speed them up a little bit.
Because even though it gets you into the whirlwind later, it preserves upward momentum, making the time spent in the whirlwind shorter. It requires like really good execution for it to actually make a time difference.
Yeah. It's a very apparent thing though. Like you can see that you are like moving through the whirlwind faster.
Yeah, it's satisfying.
There's a lot of interesting like whirlwind optimizations, like for every single whirlwind in the game. Like something will make you like go up a whirlwind faster.
I mean, the idea is that you preserve upward momentum into every whirlwind by trying to find a way to full hop as close to the whirlwind as possible. So like you're gonna have max vertical speed at the beginning of a full hop. So you want to get into that whirlwind like frames after you press the full hop button, basically. So that way you just shoot up it. In Dreamweaver's Homeworld, there's a really cool example of that. Over after you say you get the wall glide on that island, you can do a magic stare into a full hop into the whirlwind, and Spyro just flies up that thing like at Mach speed. It's so awesome. And
There's only like a few whirlwinds that feel weird, and that's just because they're like the one at the end of Metalhead. For some reason,
from its visual versus its hitbox, which is done. You have to literally aim to the wrong side of it, to the left side of it when you approach.
There's only a few I want to say they're even like that. Most of them are pretty consistent, but feels like
that Metalhead one is terrible. I'm right there with you. Easily the worst wind tunnel in the game. That one, and then the one outside of Wild Flight in Beastmaker's Homeworld, where it doesn't touch the ground. You have to jump into it.
Yeah.
That one is so annoying.
I remember when I first started the run, I had no idea how to even activate that whirlwind.
Yeah, you have to run away from it and then come back. That's the only way you can activate that whirlwind. It makes no freaking sense at all, and it's not explained anywhere in the game. So you're just running around this room like aimlessly, like why isn't it spawning? Like how do I get out of here? Yes, I feel your pain.
So you got all the gems on the chat.
All right, executed a nice single death abuse Twilight Harbor there. There's a few different versions of the single death abuse. Actually, Saboom and I do two different versions. They're equal essentially, depending on execution factors.
Yeah, I want to say the one that you do is technically faster if you can.
The one
get
that I do has
perfect.
better. Yeah, exactly. It has the higher skill ceiling for optimization. But practically speaking, you're gonna have to do in an actual real-time run. You're gonna have to do 2 turnarounds, for example, on the spring box, or pardon me, on the strong box. So it does end up evening out, and then you'll also miss the third gold on top of the little spot. Oh, triangle stop! Oh, I love this movement. I got a little overexcited there. JX plus 30 right now. Let's go, JX.
They're seeing so many % runs as of late. It's almost surreal to me to not see TNT work happen.
Yeah, right. Literally every other category does TNT teamwork if they go into Cove. It's so funny. I didn't know how to do that trick for so long until I learned any %, straight up.
I remember I didn't know how to do it either, and I don't remember who told me, but somebody was just like, all you do is just charge and glide into him right before you hit him. And I was like, oh, is it really that easy? Then I tried it out, and I was like, oh yeah, it really is that easy.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate when a trick is like easily understandable. Like it's like what the heck at first, but then once you get it, you get it. You don't have to go through that 3 or 4, de-learning it, relearning it, to really master it. You don't have to really go through that so much with TNT trick. It's one of the more straightforward ones.
Very easy to mess up whenever you're doing good, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's always the easy tricks that hit you the worst.
That's why, because you're trying to go fast. You can't go too fast for TNT tricks. Nice push.
In here too. Oh yeah, Nasty gave you a really nice push.
Nasty gave me, he got me into the corridor. Love to see it. That's like very rare, actually.
Yeah, I was just gonna briefly mention how the lock chest too in Gnorc Cove, if I'm not mistaken, getting it the proper way with the key is actually considered faster, if I'm not mistaken.
That's incorrect. It's more consistent, but if you get a good keyless cycle, hold on, let me get credit skip.
I was gonna say.
I respect it.
If you get a good keyless cycle, then it is faster than grabbing the key. But if you don't get a good keyless cycle, thank you. If you don't get a good keyless cycle, then it is slower. So by getting the key, you trade in consistency for optimization, for potential optimization.
Makes sense. I get it. Now I get it.
Yeah, we're 1 out of 1 on credit skip. All 4 of us, just so you guys know, all 4 of us here are going to be attempting credit skip, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And by chance that you don't get it, is anybody going to do I don't know
Poverty. It's called poverty.
Yeah, the poverty credit skip.
The only way I would do that is probably I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, no, there's no reason. I mean, if you can do normal credit skip, there's no reason to do poverty, unless you're just lazy, basically. You'd be faster to run through the level again and do credit skip again than you would to do poverty. It'd be the same time loss one way or another.
Makes sense, yeah. See, I do poverty, and it scares me, because sometimes the game will just hang on the returning to home screen.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, well, the game crashed.
And then finally, yeah.
Yeah, and then like a minute later, it decides it wants to come back up. Like, oh no, never mind, you're still going.
one thing of many that I don't like about poverty credit skip is that, and to those who don't know what we're talking about a version of credit skip where you open the disc tray, which is arguably hardware manipulation, but we let it slide because considering the context of the better trick being harder and it making it more accessible, we allow it on the leaderboards. But it is technically, you open the disc tray during the credits and the disc stops spinning and therefore the credits deload. You close the disc tray and then it skips like half the credits basically. The thing that I really hate about it is that when you open the disc tray on a PS2 Slim, it makes this really annoying noise of the disc going like when it slows down. You guys know what I'm talking about? I actually hate that noise so much. It makes me feel like I'm ruining my disc or something.
Yeah, I don't like that idea of it.
It scares me.
Like, you're definitely not supposed to open the disc tray like while the disc is spinning.
These black market strats.
I guess that's why they call it poverty credit skip.
So I wanted to clue you guys in on some secret tech that I've been sort of pioneering, but this is really secret, so you got to keep it between us, all right? If you, in Nasty's loot, when you get all the planes and then you're flaming the last few fireworks, the final one, if you hit the edge of the sort of platform it's on while you're flying, you flame it, you sort of hit the edge and press L1 right as you hit the edge. You can do a barrel roll off the edge into an L1 press.
Yep.
It's so swaggy, and you barely have enough time to make it to the strong box without losing time. It's awesome. By the way, GG, 124.57.
124.57. Nice. That's a really good run.
Thank you. Yeah, or 125 with race timing that you guys were watching on the stream. So yeah, guys, GG. I'm gonna stick around though and see what happens with the rest of this race. You don't really get to see a 4-way race with players that are at a sub 130 level very often. So let's see what's going on with the rest of these guys. We got MrPop coming up on credit skip here. proxy. Oh my goodness.
Barely
close.
missed the plan.
So close. Didn't quite get the pullback early enough. That glide is so weird too because there's so much more than meets the eye with the pullback mechanic with the glide. It's something you actually have to practice before you actually start doing credit skip. I tell that to people a lot. If you just jump off of a small ledge and practice pulling Spyro back and then pushing him forward again in midair, the level of anticipation you have to do those inputs with is like way like more than like a full second of like you pull back, and then by the time Spyro starts to actually visually pull back, you have to push forward again. It's really annoying. And to do that under pressure while turning around 180 U-turn after a difficult proxy, yeah, you can see why it's pretty difficult of a trick.
Yeah, the credit skip is really difficult. Man, Hum's gonna go for it.
Can I get over this?
You got it.
I got a bad proxy there. Oh shit, that was a bad decision. I'll just take the death real quick. I didn't even really pay attention to the fact that he was doing his fourth shot right there.
So one thing too I wanted to mention about credit skip, to save a little time, they do get a game over, because if you don't get a game over, then it just resets the stage. You just have to quickly leave the stage, but it saves a little bit of time if you game over, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, and what's crazy with this trick also is this is the only trick in the game that requires a damage abuse setup. And so by taking damage, we align Spyro's walk cycle and his jump right after with Nasty Nork's kind of pullback cycle so that we can get the
Nice.
proxy. Nice, MrPop. GG's on that. Since we have to take damage on this trick, we have to be like extra paying attention to the way Nasty does his shots. And what happened with Hum earlier was on Nasty's fourth shot, he doesn't do the same animation that he would do normally on the first three shots that we won. So if you're not paying super close, you're thinking about all these different things like realigning and like it's totally understandable. I've done it a million times where it's like, oh, oops, that was the fourth shot I wasn't counting. You know? But you'd be surprised how like basic accounting is something hard to do when you're focused on so many other elements of execution. I literally out loud will count out fan chests when I flame them on the 1, 2, 3 when I do that. And it's not because I'm an idiot and I can't count to 3. It's because I'm so focused on pressing circle perfectly.
It's a really nice proxy.
Be in business.
Yeah, that was very clean.
Nice,
very
good job.
Oh, I'm still in the level.
Your instincts
pause.
told you to go to the right.
Yep. 3 of 3.
Cool.
Or 3 out of 5, I guess, on a 10.
This could be huge for JX. It's a
Yeah,
first
this-
try.
Potential PB pace, I believe he said. I don't know if he's still on PB pace, but we'll see. Oh, this is tense.
Nasty's Loot, such a fun stage. Simple yet
It
fun.
is. It's a great level.
Okay, he's still got green sparks. He gets to try it one more time. Okay, beautiful proxy. Not quite enough height, but that's all right.
I very much love that we're all being quiet whenever somebody goes for it. It is a very tough
Yeah,
trick.
I'm sorry. I'm like totally talking when they're like, get the proxy, my bad.
Oh no, it's fine.
We're intensely looking at this because we know how difficult it is. Like, this is easily the hardest trick of the run. Thankfully, there is a level of consistency with it more you practice it compared to other elements of the run, but
Yep.
it is still just such a doozy at the very end of all of this hour and a half worth of work that you put in. That it's like you got to nail this very precise thing. The end game of Spyro 1 is a true test of your skills. I really believe that from lofty all the way until the end of credit skip. It's a true gauntlet.
I saved him.
Yeah, that was cool.
If you think about it too, it's like it kind of works that way for every category too. Like every category, the end game is just ridiculous.
GG Pop.
There goes Pop, GG.
Mid 130 right there. Very nice. And Thrasher, thanks for the gift to Breg. Another gift from Thrasher. Look at the generosity on this one. GG's, Mr. Pop.
Spyro with his shades on, letting you know that he is in fact.
You know I'm
the best.
looking at your swag levels here.
Wait, I can't. I don't know what to do. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh my god, he's insane! With the loop-de-loop? Are you kidding? Oh my god, dude, that's 10 out of 10 swag points.
Oh shit! I even missed the rocket.
I will say,
That was
unfortunately, JX did miss credit skip, so he's gonna have to go through again.
And I didn't even get all these gems. Oh, poor guy. He had a great run though. He's a very good runner. He's getting much better, and he'll be sub 130 before we know it.
He'll just pop in tomorrow and be like, all right, guys, I just got a 125.
Yeah, that's where it really starts to get serious. I mean, I think that, you know, all of us are at a level where sub 130 is real. Oh yeah, look at him. Oh my god, the man's insane. In these goals. He ran off. What are you doing?
Now he's just showing off.
Yeah, all right. You look at this big man. You're gonna go out of bounds too. Nice.
Oh, I
GG.
shoulda.
GG.
Spyro the Dragon.
GG.
Defeated Gnasty Gnorc, collected the dragon eggs, saved all the dragons, and recovered every bit of treasure.
I asked
the
for
dragon
swag and the
kingdom.
man delivers.
How do you feel? I feel fired up, Bob. And I'm happy
Threw
with
Phoenix
the dragon
off.
world, of course. I certainly wouldn't want to spend the
Ooh,
rest of my
hit him with a
Dragon
couple
Age butting
rolls.
heads with
Let's see
nasty
what we got here.
Gnorc and his weird minions.
What's a minion?
Never mind.
Almost.
You know what they say. For every good battle.
Hey, you got this, JX. Never give up.
And I
Trust your
felt that
instincts.
Gnasty, in spite of his misguided nature, was a worthy opponent.
It's all calculated.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
He's over
we
here
go
playing
again.
5D chess, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, you know, like a moment like this, I think for JX, I mean, it's like, it's actually pretty tough. I think like you here's everyone else done already, and now you feel this extra like, all right, now I got to get done. It makes it more difficult to do what you need to do. So
Don't
it's
worry
like,
about the stress, JX. You can take your time.
Yeah, you're good. Like we're in no rush here.
I'm chilling.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. While JX gets set up here, I just want to say thank you guys once again for an amazing race. I love getting to play other homies, old and new. You know, I love you guys, and I love everyone in the chat as well who's hanging out, still vibing at this late hour. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, that was a blast. Just hanging out with you guys, just talking about whatever came to our heads. If we wanted to talk strats, we can talk strats. If we want to talk philosophy of speed running, we were doing that too. It was just good vibes all around.
I think we had a nice balance. I think it was like 70% nerdy, like 30% philosophy, and 100% concentrated power of Spyro. Spyro 6 in the chat.
I still just love the discussion we had about just the chunks of levels and how it affects the
Chunky
game.
levels. Oh my god. Every time I go get peanut butter now, I order extra chunky level version. The best kind. Chunky. Shoot, my cat's a chunky level. That man takes forever to load.
Chunky chunk. It's like my dog. He's a chunky
Yeah, he's a
boy.
thick boy.
Yeah, he's a thick boy.
Dude, I was walking around outside my neighborhood before this race just to like get some fresh air, and I saw this cat. I went down a cul-de-sac and I saw this cat at the end of the cul-de-sac, and it was so nice. It came up to me and started like rubbing its head on my hand and like getting pets and stuff, and I couldn't get it away from me. I just want to dedicate this run to that cat. You really made my night.
Cheers.
It's coming, JX. It's coming.
Cheers to that cat.
Yes, cheers to the cat.
Yeah, and this definitely shows too, like how difficult credit skip really is to hit. So the fact that anyone can hit it, in my opinion, is just insane. If you're able to hit it, that's just nuts.
Yeah, I mean, look at how close JX is getting with some of these attempts, and it's like you really need to nail like the height and everything, and the way you pull back and push forward and flame. There's very, very little room for error. Perseverance, adversity, love, romance. These are the things you make me feel, Thrasher.
I'm feeling it. I think this is the one he's gonna get it. I'm really feeling it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yes.
Great.
go.
I was feeling it.
Yeah, that was nice. Let's go, JX. Finally, after it's all said and done, man, he got a beautiful credit skip right there.
Talking about.
All right, we're just cleaning it up now at this point. So yeah, guys. So while JX cleans things up here, tell me a little bit, if you want to share in the chat as well. What does the future of Spyro look like for you in your life? You see yourself grinding the game, trying to get better at a run. You see yourself maybe casually playing here and there. How does this game sort of fit into your life? Lay it on me. I'm here for it. I know for me, I'll start. This game has absolutely taken over my life and come to define like who I am and what I do as like a living and as a hobby and all of that. I'm really lucky to have that, but I know for everybody, it's like you gotta have a certain balance with stuff. I mean, it is just a fun game about a dragon at the end of the day, you know.
And I want to say too to anybody who like, if you're not running any of the games and you want to get into running, they're very easy games to pick up, and like almost every single category is like not done to its full potential, like at all. So the game is gonna be all the games are gonna be like live and kicking for a really long time, I feel like.
Yeah, this isn't one of those games where we've hit the human limit. I'm not sure if we'll ever hit the human limit in Spyro 1 at least, or the original trilogy at all for that matter.
I feel like only like early Ripto ETD is the only thing that is like that close.
Yeah, because it's so short. Yeah. 10 seconds or something.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like a sub like 1-minute run or something ridiculous, like 5 minutes. I remember I did a 100% run strictly to beat Saboom and no other reason, because my time was worse than his.
Nice.
So see, now I can say I am better than Saboom at a Spyro. But after I did that, I proceeded to do any percent because I was just like, why not? This is 5 minutes. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it.
I see a lot of chats talking about the sort of, you just get a PS2 or you're just starting to kind of dip into it, and even though you're not that serious about speedrunning yet, there's still this whole community aspect. I love that that is something that draws people in, you know. For me, I'm like this huge nerd about the game, so it's like the game comes first and then the community after that. But I think for a lot of people, it's the other way around, where they get involved in this game because it's just people that share similar interests to them. And that's really special. That's a hard thing to find in this world.
That's well said. Yeah, I mean, like, allow yourself to be within the community here, because there's some dope people that you would never have a chance to have seen or met or talked to or seen in person if you ever have the chance. Like, that doesn't happen unless you just allow yourself to just hop in, do some races with some people you might not know, ask some questions with people you might not know, hop into streams with people that you might not know. Just do it, and I guarantee you won't regret it.
Spyro the Dragon.
GGJX.
Let's go,
That's
JX.
me done.
GG.
Sub 140 by 4 seconds.
Very nice, very nice. Yep.
Hey, nice.
Very nice.
I got a
take
gold
that.
lofty in Jock spot, so I'm happy with that.
You were on
That
PB
credit
phase
skip
for a
was
hot second,
unfortunate.
right?
Yeah, I
good, man.
saved like a minute in lofty. I think I got like a really good lofty.
Yeah, buddy.
Strat in it. I got the bump. I got everything.
Oh man, that
Pretty
sub
clean.
130 is all yours, bro. It's all yours.
Nearly there. I'm probably gonna keep grinding, but thanks for the race. That's crazy. Happy.
Yeah,
I could-
guys. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Like, yeah, I'm really happy. New and old players alike coming together for a good old time. I'm happy.
Oh yeah. That was
yeah.
a good run.
So with that, is there anything else that you guys wanted to add or anything at the end? Little shout outs or anything like that?
Shout out to the Spyro community. Love you all.
Yeah. We all love you guys. I don't think any of us would be here if it weren't for this amazing chat room. So many familiar names. It's not like just a bunch of random, people coming in and out. It's you guys are all people that show up day in and day out in all of our streams. That's something that really makes a difference in my life. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everyone that has participated either in chat or did a run or contributed to this series in any capacity, even if you're not here right now. Just thanks a lot.
Yeah. Hearts. I'm posting a heart. Hearts.
Actually, couldn't have said it any better there.
Well, thank you guys so much for being the closing run. Really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and do an outro, so I'll see you guys later.
See you later, guys.
See you.
Keep spiraling. Peace.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, we have reached the end of Spyrothon 7. It's been such a great weekend. I want to say thank you so much to everybody who's been around. I think this has been just the best Spyrothon that we've ever had. Thank you so much for the support, just being in chat, all the channel point rewards, of course, the subscriptions. It all is so nice to see the community coming out and just enjoying Spyro for what it is. Great speedrunning, great people. I also want to say thanks to all the runners in particular for putting on the runs, of course, the commentators as well for contributing to that. I want to say a special thanks to Phoenix and Tupper for being co-organizers with me, making sure this event can go smoothly. As Dayo mentioned, actually, I also want to say, I guess a few of them did, the Spyro community is definitely kicking off right now. There's a lot of new people getting involved, and I think if you have any interest at all, you should feel free to pick it up. There's tons of people who want to help you out. There's tons of people who will be right there along with you. So just if you're feeling it, go for it. It's going to be a good time. He also mentioned GDQ submissions. They're open. If you're somebody that does runs already, has a unique category, or even just one of the main categories, and you want to submit, go for it. The best way to get into GDQ is just to have a bunch of submissions there. That way they see interest. If there's a lot of people submitting, it means there's a lot of people that want to see the runs, right? So if you're thinking about it, go for it. I don't have too much else to say. Phoenix, do you have anything you want to say?
No, just great all-around event. Thanks everyone for being patient with everything going on. Went pretty good.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you so much again, just for making this such a strong ending and just a great event overall. We're gonna play something real quick, and then we're gonna do a raid. And I don't have any announcements quite yet for you, but I can say rest assured, Spyrothon will be back next year. We'll have more information for you sometime soon. In the meantime, follow us here on Twitch, join the Discord, follow us on Twitter for announcements that we'll put out throughout the year, just on what's going to be happening, things going on in the community. It's a great place to keep up with stuff. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for us. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your night and this video that we got coming up.
I just forgot what to say. I forgot what I had planned out right at the fucking end. Hey folks, y'all are watching. God damn it. I forget my name. I forgot my name in the 2 takes I did of the door one, and now it's completely out of my mind. I fucked up the S twice now. It was a mistake to let me do this. Hey! I forgot what to say again. I've been resetting this constantly and having to do that opening spiel over and over again, and I'm getting sick of that. I don't want to do it, man. They're gonna make fun of me. Hi, my name is Hum, and you were watching Spyrothon. That was a cue. Okay.